Hey collectors, welcome back to another video. Today we have Figma number 425 and this is Kazuma. Now I can't say the anime's name, but he goes with Aqua and Meganum. So I really wanted to review him. I've had him for a while and I really wanted to kind of collect the set. So let's have a look. First of all, we have this lovely window display. We see the figure, we can see some of his weapons, we can see his crazy face, his face, and his normal face, and some water effect. Then we've got him there, him on the back with some of the effects, and then obviously we got him there. At the top is face, quite like, and the same one. So let's open up this bad boy and have a look inside. But before we begin the review, if you want to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, as well as that cheeky notification bell to be notified when more videos drop. And without further ado, let's just jump straight into it. So this is everything you get with Kazuma. So you get the figure, you get the two faces, multiple hands, a cape, the stand, a water effect, an extra kind of like joint, a sword, and then the peg thingy. Now one thing I have noticed is when I got the hands out of the box, one of them kind of kept coming out. And when I tried to put it back in, it felt like it was really old. And I know this is not a big thing, but all the bags for Figma have been completely different. But this is one of the old school ones. So I don't know if this has been around for a long time and they've just not released it. But I just thought I'd kind of mention it. So yeah, that's a little thing there. And here he is. Here is Kazuma. And I've got to admit, it looks like a very generic anime character in this one for some reason. But, you know, let's have a look at him. First of all, you have the hair, which looks completely flat. This is not one of my favorite type of hairs. It just feels a little bit kind of flat, even from looking side to side. And then obviously we've got his kind of like normal clothes where he's just literally like out on an adventure, so it's kind of like grays and kind of pale grays with a bit of black. When I got him out of the box, I noticed that his body was shifting this way, which felt a little bit kind of weird, so it took a bit of time to kind of move him there. So there's not kind of a lot of detail on this one. Moving down to his torso here, we've just got a belt, which has got gold and brown, and again, you can see the shirts carrying on. There's not really kind of anything defining about this. You can just see that there is a little bit here, if you can see it in the camera for the light. So basically there's not a lot there. It feels like it's a very bland character. I don't know if this is in the anime. I know I've only watched a few episodes of him so far, but yeah. Kind of moving down, you can see here it's just kind of normal adventuring boots, and that's it. There's not really much to kind of go for. You can see that there's just the light brown leather here, and then yeah, there's not a lot really much to tell, I think, which is a bit of a shame. On the back, you can see now there's just the normal boots. You can see more of the brown, and for some strange reason they haven't matched the joints to the actual color. That's something that I think that was on the really older figures, not the newer ones, because I know that they try and match the color straight away, so I don't know why there is. So this kind of makes me think this is like an old figure, or an old Figma figure that they've had for a while, and they've just kind of released it as normal. Moving on to the back, we can see there is a peg for the stand, and then you've got the sheath for his sword, which is just there, and again just a very generic white top. And you can also see, which I'll show you at the top, I haven't noticed it till now, it may be causing a part of the problem, but we've got basic grey. Again, nothing to write home about. This is the thing here that makes me think that this is basically a rush job. You can tell it's not finished. They've not actually sealed it properly, that this could come out at any time. And it actually kind of surprises me because these all came a few months ago, I think, when you had Overwatch, where you had the review that I did from one of the protagonist from Fate, one of the Fate figures, which basically meant it wasn't up to scratch. So this is very weird, and I don't know the reason why they've done that. But yeah, I'm not happy about that. So I'm guessing it's easy enough just to kind of seal, but it looks kind of dull and boring. Back of the hair, even the camera can't focus on it. Back of the hair is very bland. There's not a lot kind of for this figure, so this is going to be interesting to see. But yeah, so we're going to do the articulation test, see what it's like. I'm hoping that this is going to be fine. I really hope nothing breaks, but let's have a look. So first of all, moving the feet are absolutely fine. The toes are exactly the same, like so. knee joint like that is fine. A little bit stiff, not happy about that, but I'm guessing that's because this is the first time it's out the box. Like so. Arms go all the way around. That's fine. So you can see there's grey there. And like that. Let's swap from there. Hands fine. That very felt like the male protagonist from that other figure I did a while ago. I was like, please don't snap so easily. So hands turn around. Moves like that. Turns all the way around, which is fine. It's very here. Just be careful. I would recommend holding it from there at least, because if you hold it there, it's quite spiky. So up and down, moves around. So yeah, it's not too bad for the articulation. Just be careful with them. Let's have a look at the different faces. I always hate Figmas. Oh, his head came off really quickly. I always hate figures with spiky at the front, because if you can't grab the hair, it generally kind of starts hurting after a while. So like that. So that's just not bad. But I think my favorite face is coming up next, which is, the best face generally is the worst one to put on. Yes, that gives the whole figure more life. I actually generally like that face. I've only ever seen these sorts of faces like with Woody and stuff like that, but this is absolutely kind of perfect. Yes, that's my favorite face. I think that's the one that's going to stay on the most. Two of the extra features that you get is, one is the cape and one is the water feature. Now let's look at the cape. So you basically just take his head off like so, place the cape like that, and then there is if you can see it, just there, plugs straight into the back of the figure. Add in the head. Now, every single time that I've done it, that's gone in straight away. The peg goes straight up, which is a bit different. But the cape does kind of give it a bit extra life. I do kind of wish it flowed down a bit. So, a little bit like that, but it looks kind of weird the way that you're doing it. But it does give it more life, I think. It gives it a different look. Damn, I can't even get it in focus properly. But I really like it. You've got the two kind of gems or colored things that keep the rope around. You've got a little bit of yellow around, which is kind of cool. And again, you can adjust these if you want to. So it's kind of like the Seto Kaiba stuff. The second thing is looking at the water feature. So there's a select hand on the actual figure, which is like so, and then you can basically add it. Actually, no, I think there's a third one, which is the Panties. I think there's a hand that, if you can see it, put it there, that she holds onto them or something. So we'll have a look at that in a second, because I think there's a different pose. So you can take the hand off, which is quite easy enough to do. Add on the water effect. It kind of gives a little bit more life to him like that. I like it. I think it adds a bit more. So yeah, that's pretty much how you just attach the hand and the cape. Very easy. And the last thing is they're the panties. That's pretty much it. There's no hand for it. It's just one of the basic hands that you can have. I forgot, to be fair, I forgot to show off the sword that you get as well. So it looks okay. Gold and kind of normal-ish. So yeah, that kind of goes in the back of the sheath. So let's have a quick check. It's probably a lot easier to take it out. There we go. So that kind of fits in. Doesn't fit all the way in. Did I get it the right way? No, it's definitely that way. Okay, so there we go. So the sword goes straight into the back, and that's roughly that's roughly about it. And there we go, collectors. There is Kazuma, and I've got to admit, this is one of the most boring figures that Figma have released for a while. I feel like this figure doesn't really add anything. I think it's mainly one for if you are going to collect it for the rest of the series. I think that Aqua and Meganum is actually a better figure because they actually have a bit more life to them. But again, this just feels like it was a quick one. But it also feels like this figure has been out for a while, or it's like kind of a rehash. And obviously you can tell from like certain bags, mainly, as I said, the Figma one, like that, because of the way it is, because all of the newer ones are completely different. But even like when looking at like putting the hands onto like the stand, it just doesn't work. I generally don't know why they thought about this one. Maybe they could make it slightly better. I just think that this is a very boring figure. So the only time that I would recommend something like this is if you are collecting it for the entire series. So if they're going to do all the characters, then yes, definitely get them. If you're just getting them for, say, just your first one, I would completely skip this one, and I just wouldn't go kind of near it. I just wanted it because I like the series, and I wanted to collect the figures. So yeah, I am gonna leave it there. This isn't the best figure, I would say. This is an okay one. It's just one that I would kind of miss. So collectors, what are your thoughts on this? Would you get them? Would you not? Let me know down below in those comments. And while you're down there, why not hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, as well as that cheeky notification bell to be notified when more videos drop. And as always, collectors, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a bit.